Welcome, I'm Nid, your karma guide to spiritual embodiment in this life. And each month I share an energetic theme of contemplation with my Body Life Sanctuary. And on YouTube, I give you some of those more practical tips and tools that you might want to try out in your life and see how it fits. And if you love it and you want to go a little deeper, you can come and try out the Embody Life Sanctuary and get to know the wonderful community that are there for support. So in this month, we are exploring veneration. What? So veneration is that sense of magnificence, of awe and wonder and deep respect of life, of the magic of the cosmos, of how all of these intricate, phenomenal things happen that create life. The bits and bobs inside of us that help us to just create cells and live and have this living experience. And that is just so magnificent and phenomenal. But maybe you're not really feeling there. You're not quite in that place right now. And I totally get that. After my years of depression and anxiety issues that I've went through, I felt a great sense of lack of any of that connection. I had this feeling of being so isolated and not understood and unheard, and that there was this horrible competition in this world that made me feel like I had to fight for myself and, you know, be this great defender of independence. And it's really tiring. It's really tiring. And those choices that tend to come from that place are short-term goals. They maybe don't serve the longer term for you because they're really coming from a place of fear. They're really coming up from a space of potentially lacking in something. And maybe you're someone who gets jealous. Maybe you're someone who feels resentment. I was a resentment person. I would overgive, I would overshare, and then I would feel resentful that I wasn't necessarily getting it back. And that was because for me, it was tied up in my lack of self-worth, right? Whereas for other people, it might be that it's more the jealousy, it's more the competitive side, because you feel that greater sense of competition, of really wanting to get ahead of the curve. And you don't feel necessarily quite that same sense of isolation, or maybe it's in a different way. So whatever it is that can be feeling like it's not quite there, it is something we want to move and shift through so that we can move towards that place of awesomeness. And my first suggestion for that place of awesomeness is to just be out in nature. Do your best to get out and look at the sky. Look at that huge, vast expanse, ever-changing, never the same. How is it never the same? Phenomenal. And look at those stars and how many years it's taken for them to get to your eyeballs. Like, just being in nature and seeing this magnificence is the first thing that can really help start to move towards healing this place of lack, of isolation, of feeling alone. And just tapping into how being in nature can also help remind us of rhythms and of cycles, and that maybe we're moving through a cycle and things take time in nature. Nature does not rush. She is never hurried. And so recognizing the time, recognizing the pace and what rhythm it is that maybe we are in, because quite often when we have that sense of competition, of separation, of lack, we don't have a sense of the rhythm and the cycles of when is it time for abundance and when is it time for a barren, empty place, for things to become renewed and regenerated, for something to be planted and seeded and to grow anew. And what point in the growth cycle is it at? And so it's really helpful to be in nature and find that connection. And if it's hard for you to get outside into nature and to look at those things, then seeing if there's a way that you can even just grow a pot plant or a couple of little vegetables in your kitchen, maybe using a light lamp or something like that can just be a really beautiful way to start to build that connection with the wonders of nature. Another aspect that can be a really useful tip to get you on that way towards connecting into that greater sense of magnificence and wonder at the world can be the ability to take pleasure in other people's joy. So Brené Brown talks about Freudenfreude, which is taking pleasure in other people's joy, and Johann Hari in Lost Connections talks about loving kindness practice meditations being shown to help people connect more into getting joy out of other people's joy and not feeling that sense of competition or jealousy. And so I'd love to encourage you with this practice because it's a beautiful way to be able to connect with people, to improve our social skills, and also to find joy in things that even you wouldn't actually enjoy yourself, but seeing someone else enjoy them brings you so much pleasure. And one of my favorite ways to do it is literally just to watch children playing. And as I watch children play, I can just see that pure pleasure, that pure innocent joy, and that brings me so much pleasure. So we could do that. You could just take yourself off and witness animals playing, witness other people, whether it's lovers and couples and you're single, and just watch them share their love and be happy and celebrate their love for them. And when we do that, it starts to help us cultivate those feelings of love, cultivate what it is that we desire, and it brings it to us, right? It brings energetically, we shift towards what we want, what we're seeking, and so it can come to us with greater ease. And so taking that practice, whether it's a practical with people around you, putting yourself in situations where you are in that energy and the vibration of that feeling where you want to move to, what it is that you would like in your life. Or the other option is that you can come into a loving kindness meditation or visualization practice if you're not comfortable with meditations. And in that practice, you will sit and imagine somebody that you like, that you love, and see them in front of you. Their pain, their suffering, and also their joy and happiness. And then you send to them your love for their joy and happiness and see them transform in your mind. And then you let them, in your mind, see your joy, your happiness, but also your pain and your suffering. And you receive from them that love for your joy and your peace. And allow yourself to receive that good feeling back. And you can practice and play with this ability to exchange feeling, both suffering and both peace and joy. And as you play with that ability to sit and witness and imagine other people and then receive it back from them, it just starts to help inside the brain change a little bit of the wiring and also the chemistry in our body to move again towards that feeling state which you desire, which is that deeper connection, that deeper sense of awe and wonder and adoration, other people's lives, other people's moments of experience, so that when they're happy, you feel it for them too. And so with this practice, it brings a deep sense of connection, a deep love, and humility in that we are all the same, that we all share these feelings, we all share these desires, and it shifts the decision making that you may have in your life towards something that opens and encompasses everyone. And so there's a longer view. There's a view of what people will inherit after you, what others around you will experience as a knock-on effect of the choices that you make. And then you begin to make those choices from a place of abundance, from a place of connection, and from a place of love. So have a wonderful July. I look forward to your posts and comments about how you find exploring this and building that beautiful connection with one another. And let us celebrate and enjoy one another's joy. Because joy is infectious. Have a great month.